Just waiting. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Can I say something? Hello. What am I doing? I'm just coming here to do the live stream. If I'm wondering what I'm doing, I was just putting the thumbnail for the live stream so it looks better when you guys click on it, you know. What's on my mind? Uh, Nothing much really. What are your plans today? Don't really have much plans. What's the next video? The next video, it was actually about a thought that I was having about last week about parents and well, I don't want to give too much away from my future or my next video. I don't know when I'm gonna do it, but something related to parents and how they weren't prepared to. They had no idea what would happen in the future. You know, they didn't have the capacity to think about, you know, the future job market, the high cost of living, and things like that. So that'll be a very interesting video to tackle. um, Another thought that I was having too was something about uh, you know, the whole divide of between men versus women on the internet. It's just, I just find it so absurd. um, I think it's just making things worse for our society. Like, why the whole divide, why the whole hate towards the other gender? And I just feel like it's just making things worse unnecessarily. Like, you know, we should really just band together and, you know, try to, you know, fix the situation and things. But yeah. Hi, I'm you from future. I have lost my hair and I'm homeless. What the fuck? Wait a minute. I forgot to do the community moderation. Subscribers. Let's see, 10 minutes. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to add the little subscribers only mode because I don't want any trolls in my comments. At the end of the videos, can you try to give a positive outlook on the topic you talked about in the video? I mean, I don't always do it, but I do, or I already do that sometimes, so I don't understand what you mean by that. Sometimes I don't end the video because I want to be positive. It's just how my mindset works now. It's kind of like, well, let's look at something in the realistic sense. Let's break something down, um, and then try to see how we can navigate, you know, that reality, you know, and so it's not full on toxic positivity. It's not full on optimism. It's more like just being real. And my man, all these are on the internet. If you go outside, you will barely see any of those. What? The world is a strange place these days. Are you still job searching or just taking a break? I'm tired of work. No, but I haven't been job searching in a long time. So, um, because I mean, earlier this year I was already trying to apply to so many places, even part-time jobs, and even for somebody as me like me who has experience, couldn't get anything. No callbacks, no nothing. Um, there was one opportunity that I was offered, but it ended up being a full-time job, and it it seemed too similar to um, my last job, so I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Hey, I watch your videos. My goal is to be a streamer so I can get out of this 9 to 5 bullshit. Sadly, I'm getting ripped for my 9 to 5 right now. Man, so sorry to hear that. It sucks. Hey man, watch some of your older videos, very relatable, especially the one that about what makes a real man. I'm glad you liked that video because the real man video, the masculinity video is something that took a lot of courage out of me to do. I never thought there'd be a day where I'd actually end up being open about something like this, um, but I did. So yeah, great to catch into the live. What do you think about red pill content? Um, what what is red pill content? Oh, okay. So red pill content is about truth about gender roles, feminism, relationships, often involving misogyny, traditional masculinity. Yeah, those are the type of videos that I don't like. Those are the type of videos I hate. Those are the videos that I was mentioning earlier about the whole divide between men and women. That's the type of content that I avoid completely. I don't like that those types of videos. All these things, red pill, black pill, all this bullshit, all these fucking these weirdos on the internet. I just nah, I can't. um, why do we even have to work a regular job? Honestly, I'm glad you like my glasses. Becoming more independent and realize being a man as much as we thought. Are you anything like your family? Um, I don't know how to say this, but I guess when it comes to family, well, kind of you just kind of grew up with them, so you kind of adopt, some of their traits, some of their mindset. Um, but I think I know deep down my soul, there is something different. There is something screaming that's something outside of their sphere, and sometimes I'm just sitting, with them, and I just feel like the different one, and so um, yeah, that's as best as I can explain it. I hate everything about my life just because of numbers. Christmas turned into another bill. Fuck this. Yeah, I feel you. Life outrage. What's up, brother? Do you like pho? Absolutely. Pho is my favorite food of all time. I love pho. I can. It's like the type of food where I feel like I could actually eat um, 2, 3 times a week. Hypothetically, though, like I wouldn't actually do it, but I mean, if given the opportunity, I probably would. Mm-mm-mm. feel like the way to stop being miserable is making money, doing what we love instead of useless work that we don't care about. Man, I wish it were that way, honestly. Could you imagine a world where we actually prioritized doing what we want to do? You know, say somebody um, is passionate about, I don't know, watchmaking, and they'll just do it. Somebody's passionate about making films, they'll just do it. You know, I don't know. It would but I was actually thinking about this actually, but if we prioritize doing our, following what we want to do, and it could be just little things, it would actually also reduce the productivity in in the workplace and consumption, and so things would look radically different. We wouldn't have all the resources that we have right now at our disposal. So things would look radically different. So I don't know. It's a big topic to tackle. I feel you can, if you think deeply about this, you could go pretty deep. I literally say I can eat pho every day. Pho is delicious. I have no passion. I just want to rest and have peace. Yeah, I mean that's no shame in that. If you just want to rest, that's cool too. But somebody like me who has passions and interests, like that those are the things that keep me going in life. In this shit system. Anyone can do what they want for a living. The problem is marketing, how you sell your services. Yeah, but that's the problem, because it's the topic of having to sell yourself. Why the hell do we live in a world we sell ourselves? It's you have to promote yourself in order to be accepted in a way. You can't just say, you wake up one day and say you want to do this and just fucking do it. No, you can't. And yeah. Raise your right hand up high for me if you want to see if the view is mirrored or not. What? Like this? That's my right hand, by the way. Yeah, let me know if it's mirrored. I guess it is mirrored, right? I don't know. Yeah, it is mirrored, but I don't know if it's mirrored for you. That's what I'm wondering. Adulthood sucks. Honestly, I hate how some people are conditioned into wanting to grow up. Yeah, it's like what I said in my recent video. It's weird how we were all kids just playing and having fun, and then suddenly you're surrounded by people talking about, shit like, what's going on in your career, uh, what's happening in school, what are your grades, how's your internship, how's the job search going, or shit like this, and um, shit like this. So it's just like, fuck that. It's just a bunch of like, why can't we just, like, we have the opportunity to retain ourselves, to retain our true pure selves from when we were kids. I'm not saying that we'll just stay childish. Obviously we'll mature in some shape or form, but we wouldn't, like, I don't know, it's just like we're pressured because it's the environment, the system that we're surrounded by, and it forces us to think of that all these things are important. Job search, internship, LinkedIn, and fucking hell, like, come on, guys. Are those things really that important in life? Like, when you're like on your deathbed, are you going to think about all this shit? Absolutely not. No. So, yeah, a lot of those things are just meaningless, artificial constructs. Um, yeah. My webcam doesn't film mirrored footage. Mirrored cam sucks. What? If it was a community or village, I'll gladly continue my labor and do my part. This paying bills and taxes shit is hell. Absolutely. In the end, we're all going in the ground. Joining your live stream for the first time, huge greeting to you and everyone watching. Greetings. Life is absolutely meaningless garbage. I like to think, well, I don't want to like change your view or anything, but I'm at a point where life itself is not meaningless, but a lot of the things in the system feel meaningless, make life meaningless. So I'm able to differentiate the two now, because we still we live in this we still live in this system. This system wasn't always there when you think about it. There was life existed before the system. So when you really think about it, life can life could be better than this. Life can be good. Life. So it's the system that we're in that make life unbearable. You know, if you get what I mean. Does anyone else wonder how the fuck they're gonna make it to old age in this world and current system? It's a scary thought. I just want to be innocent child again. Yeah, it is a scary thought, old age. But at the same time, one thing you can do is, do you picture yourself being old, like reaching old age and still working at some regular 9 to 5 job for the rest of your life and waiting until retirement? Do you picture yourself doing that? And if I had to ask myself, I don't. So what do you do in that case when you don't? So you try to, at least, I'm not saying take action right away, because I'm still in the process of that, but at least to imagine what your life could look like. Imagine a life that could be different than the scripted path. And I think just at least to imagine it, at least in some capacity, is what's going to it's what's keeping me going, in a sense. I'm not saying let's all be hopeful and this system is amazing, and lie to myself. No, I'm not saying that, but at least to just imagine a different way of life, just to picture it. And I don't know. I'm just saying crap. Do you think most people are aware of the things you talk about in your videos? I like to think that a lot of people are already thinking about these thoughts, but we live in a world where a lot of times you have to suppress your emotions, you have to suppress your deep thoughts, and for survival, for the sake of survival. And um, I guess I've always been somebody who thinks loudly, who can't lie to himself. And whenever I do lie to myself, or even if I just try for just a little bit, I can't fucking do it. It's something in me. It hurts to do it. I can't hide my emotions. I have to let things out, and this is why I'm making videos now, and it allows me to do that. And there are so many situations where I have to play a role, pretend that everything is fine and normal, when really it's not. So this is one of those times when I can just freely express myself, and it is an amazing feeling to just be able to do that. Yeah. Where was I? People shouldn't have kids in this hell. Do you think, sorry, do you think the current system can be changed? Enough people can rise? Um, Gosh, I don't know if in our lifetime it's possible. I'd love for it to be possible, but I just don't know. I'm not for sure certain of if this ever happening. It could happen eventually down the line, but I don't know if in my lifetime it would be possible. So people complain about how it is now, but imagine being a peasant in medieval Europe. Yeah, I guess. Because see, that's the thing that I don't like, because I don't like the idea of comparing suffering. Like no matter what, we we all like suffer in the system either way. Somebody in medieval times was suffering in their own way. We're suffering in our different way. You know, we shouldn't be like, oh, someone's better. Somebody had it worse. Just fuck that. You know, it's just we're all suffering in some capacity, and we shouldn't just compare ourselves like because when we compare ourselves, it leads to, oh well, you what you're going through is actually not that bad compared to this person here. It's like, so it's basically another way of saying, oh, suck it up, suck it up and deal with it, because your situation is not as bad as this person's situation. And the mindset of that is not going to help. You know, getting old and losing my independence is a fear of mine. Do you think if things change enough, you might have kids in the future? Uh, Interesting question. Huh. This is actually kind of making me think, reflect a bit. Um, See, that's the thing, because I just don't know. I don't see how, because the changes that I'm imagining, they require a lot of like work, a lot of, and not just work from me, but just from society, the whole system in general. And so, and at the same time, you know, even if the system were better, um, you know, sorry, I'm losing my words here. Sorry. Even if the system were better, there's still a lot of people on this planet, or maybe too many people on this planet. So, I mean, in that case, when there's so many people already, the logical thing to do is to adopt. In that case, rather than just pump out another mini me because people want to pass on their genes, and that's like what everybody wants to do. But and there's nothing wrong with that in a sense, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. What would you say to your past 19-year-old self? Um, Past 19-year-old self. So when I was 19, I had just graduated from trade school. So I was preparing for, um, going to jobs and things, interviews, and what would I say? I'd probably tell my 19-year-old self that I was just following the script, and that I wasn't actually following what my heart desired, what my soul wanted. Because I remember even at the time, I remember at school, there was I didn't break down, but in a sense, I felt I remember in class there was a moment where I just felt done. I just and I looked so done that the teacher actually came up to me, and he wanted to have a chat, a sit down and a talk about what's going on, and I remember saying something like how, something about this is not for me. I didn't know why. I didn't have an explanation. I just knew that what I was doing was not for me. And and the teacher was just kind of saying things like, oh well, um, maybe you could find something else, and that was not the kind of help that I needed, because deep down I knew that all of this, oh, if this is not the right path, why don't you just try this program at school? Why don't you try this other thing? Why don't you try this other field? This is the mindset that most people operate on, and I didn't want that type of help. I didn't want the help of, oh, you should look into this other field. Maybe you'll be interested in this field. Because I wasn't interested in any field. I didn't want any shit. So, if I knew that back then, that nothing would have interested me, like in terms of like school wise, I could have just avoided all that path altogether. But I don't know. What is one thing you think is underrated in life people should know or try? Underrated in life? Huh. Interesting. I don't know. What underrated thing to try? I was gonna think about a certain food, but I really don't know. I would say don't go to college because it's a scam. Technically, is a scam. Not only that, you pay shitloads of money for it, and not only that, you pay a shitload of money for the books as well. So, oh my god, I remember a story here. Here's a story. Usually, this is what everybody does. You go to university, college, and what do you do? You have to go to the. I don't know if it's like this everywhere, but there's like a books, not a bookstore, like a store inside the school where you buy your school books, your materials, and things like that. And you have like these long lineups of people on the first day already buying their shit, and it's like, could you, when you think about it, look at all the money being spent on all these books and things. Like, why couldn't we just, like, remember in high school or primary school, they would lend you the books, but in college and university, they make you buy the fucking books. So it's a fucking business altogether. Jesus Christ. I think I think most of us don't ask much. We just want our superiors to treat us like human beings and that our salaries are higher to have a decent life. Personally, I haven't reached that point. Yeah. Um, I remember I said something similar too, and I saw a comment saying that if we raise the salary, then that causes inflation. And so, yes, when you think about it, that does make sense. So, the only solution I can think of is, why the hell do we keep, for example, they say in order to pay your rent, you need $1,000 to $2,000 a month or something. But why is that amount already so high? And so the amount is already so high, so it makes us want to have a higher salary so that we can, afford to pay those bills. But what if that cost for the rent would stay low? We wouldn't want to demand a higher salary, if that makes any sense. So it's like we want more money because everything is getting expensive, but why do we make things expensive? Why do we raise the digital numbers of things? It doesn't make any sense to me. Why do you need to pay for food and water? That is so stupid. Yeah. My view is life itself is full of suffering and people blame it on everything, but life always brings pain. I wouldn't want to come back to this hellhole world. The best thing I ever did was not have children. They are not getting any worker bees out of me. Yeah, that's the thing. The system wants us to have children because it'll, provide new workers, provide new taxpayers, and having children used to be about love and connection and something real and pure. But in this system, having children is about, you know, having people comply, having people suck up to the system and keep the world running, and to have new people run, make digital numbers go around. It's yeah. Raising a kid is 300,000. Really? I didn't know that. Good people don't want to deal with BS anymore. Yeah, we don't. True, if people genuinely want to be parents, why not help children who are abandoned in this world? Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's exactly it. How you doing, man? I'm doing okay, I guess. I'm 38, and it feels like yesterday I was 19. It's crazy. Gosh. Hello from Indonesia. Hello. It's interesting to see how you know doing these live streams, making videos that have viewers across the entire world. It's an interesting thought. It's not something that I'm used to. Well, I am used to it now, but in a sense, sometimes it feels surreal to think that I'm reaching people even from Indonesia, for example. So, um, yeah, that's blows my mind, honestly, sometimes. Already too many people in this world. Anytime I leave the house, traffic is all over the dang place. See, that's the thing. With traffic, you you realize. I remember thinking to myself, if you, and this was a thought that I had earlier this year, but when you see the traffic, and then when you think of at the same time the thought about people having children, like in the future, these children are going to go to work, buy a car, and they're going to be part of that traffic as well, and it's just going to keep it's just going to keep running the cycle like that. It's easy to look back and speculate the shoulda, coulda, lies. We had no way of knowing the world would turn out like we're seeing now. Yeah, that's why I don't actually like. I'm in a place in life where I'm not like blaming my parents, like, oh, they shouldn't have brought me here, I shouldn't have been born and things, because when if you think deeply about it, okay, like 20, 30 years ago, parents, they were still hopeful about the future. Things didn't cost too the cost of living wasn't too high. Things were steady, and they could not have predicted what would happen. Um, so I'm not telling you guys to say, hey, stop resenting your parents, but me personally, I'm in a place where I'm not resenting anymore. At least I'm not. I never have, but it's just like when you first awaken, in a sense, that's the kind of like the first thing that your mind goes to feel resentment, to feel hate, to feel lost and confused about everything. And that's how I was earlier this year. But I didn't know like awareness could evolve, but it did. It was better a bit. No social media. People seemed happier. Yeah. Love your channel. Thank you. Glad you're enjoying the channel. Give it 10, 20 more years. This life is shit, mundane hamster wheel. The ability to laugh at weakness, calm, fitter. Help here. Music and movies used to be great. Nowadays, it's garbage. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to movies, for example, remember how like think about like early 2000s movies, early movies in the 90s. There used to be so much heart, so much soul into them. And especially like when you reach like some of the credits, they would have this really like 90s classic song that plays, and those types of songs, you know, we don't get those types of songs anymore. Um, and it's kind of sad. And then another thing about movies is the topic of sincerity. You know, things had emotion before. Things, you know, things would have emotion and people wouldn't laugh about it. And oh, this actually reminded me of something. I remember going to see the Joker film in theaters, and this was in a time when Marvel movies were like going big and things. And Joker is a pretty dark and serious movie, but I remember just sitting in that theater and people were laughing. People were laughing at things that were never meant to be funny, that were actually meant to be taken seriously. So it's like people were just people are just so used to laughing now in a cinema, you know. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have fun and laugh, but it's just like for a movie like Joker to view it as a comedy, no pun intended. There's actually a line in the movie that's literally that. My life is a comedy, um, but yeah, it's just I didn't get it how people were just laughing in the theater. So books are overpriced as fuck. Makes me sad because I enjoy reading books sometimes. Yeah. I was born in April of 1995. Life has changed so much since then. It's a completely different world. Since then, it has gotten worse each and every year. By design, 95 was the start of the internet and tech. Yeah. Hey, Life Outrage. Did you ever watch Bill Cooper podcast? No. I lived before people had cell phones. I got my first cell phone at 19. Isn't it amazing, this feature that I just put, the subscribers only mode? No trolls, no trolls. That time when I did a live stream and I was getting all these racist comments asking me if I eat dogs. Like what the fuck? Seriously. People have children to use them for money at old age. That's a reality, Indonesia and Vietnam are both Southeast Asian nations too. Yes, they are. From Georgia, USA. Have you ever seen a ghost or spirit or UFO? Mm. Interesting question. I don't know about seeing a ghost because sometimes like you're in a room where there's no one and then something falls, and I never assume that it's a ghost. I just assume that, oh well, it just fell because I don't know, maybe I moved a certain way. I don't know. And a UFO. I don't know if I don't know if I really saw this or I was just dreaming, but I remember um, it was in the middle of the night and I woke up for whatever reason at 2 3 a.m. and I saw this little light and I thought it was the moon and outside the window, and so but because I don't have pretty good vision, so I just assumed it was the moon. But then I saw the thing kind of just like rise up into the air, and so it just flew up, and it was the light was gone. So I'm wondering, was that a UFO? Was I just fucking dreaming? Was I don't know. It's weird. Sending love from Los Angeles, California. Thank you. How's traffic where you guys live? Traffic is fucking nuts. I don't understand even on Saturdays. I thought Saturdays was like the day when people rest and people stay home, or but nah. If you go out on Saturday, there's still gonna be traffic in the afternoon at 3 p.m., 4 p.m. People are doing shit all the time, no matter what day it is. People are always doing shit. People are always having to consume. Sorry. People are always consuming. People having to go here and there. It's just, goddamn. The Truman Show is my favorite 90s movie, Terminator 2 and The Matrix as well. Yeah. I recently watched The Truman Show for the first time during the summer. Very interesting movie. I don't love it as that much, but it was a very some very powerful scenes, especially when dealing with this awareness. Terminator 2, I love Terminator 2. It does reflect our reality very much, and of course, The Matrix. Mm-mm-mm. Oh my goodness, you are alive, so neat. I am live. Normies love to laugh at the pain of the unfortunate, real or not. It's sad. That's how many people are sadly. Yeah, books are great. It's one of the things that I truly like about this world. 90s and early 2000s had great quality. After 2002, everything fell apart and went downhill all by design. There's nothing to anything anymore. Everything used to be colorful and alive and full of soul. Yeah. Do you eat cats? And I'm glad you put joking, because if you didn't put that, I would have blocked you. But in my 20s, struggling to find a job, took graphic design, but it didn't work out for me. Now pursuing nursing. Wish me luck, I guess. Yeah. It sucks that, when it's like it's the default thing to do. Oh, this field is not working out, so why don't we just switch to another field? Why does it have to be fields? Why does it have to be programs? Why does it have to be? I don't know. It's just. I hope to find a job that's not in retail or fast food. Well, as long as you don't go for an office job, I think, or a corporate job, just avoid those, please. Life Outrage. Have you ever played Bloody Hollowfest? PC game is a really fun game. Have you ever listened to Fitter Happier? No, I have. I've never played that game. Sorry. Have you ever listened to Fitter Happier by Radiohead? Sums up our world better than any song I've heard. Nope, I've never heard of it, but it'd be interesting to listen to it. Um, well, there goes me listening to the song. But I have to deal with an ad first of Taylor Swift.
Better, happier, more productive. 3 days, in fact, no bears done will read with the orders. On Sundays leaving old supermarket. No killing law, at a better pace. Slower and more calculated and informed member of society. Pragmatism not ideal.
This is a very chilling song. It's not even a song. It's like an electronic voice like speaking. I'll listen to it later. I took a college course as a fresh start. Parents made sure I do computing, which I do like, but money they want. Hey, it's been long. I'm following your channel. It was 6 videos on channel when I subscribed. It's good to see that you continue to make videos and live streams. Wow. So if you were there when I had 6 videos, that means you were there since February. Wow, that's hey, thank you for sticking around. Honestly, this is Yeah, my sixth video was on February 5th. So, wow, this blows my mind. To anyone out there who's been there since January or February, even, damn, that's uh, that's crazy. I saw a very similar type of UFO experience as you. Mine was extremely intense. What do you think of stars in the sky? If you look at them and stare, do they start moving and dancing around randomly? Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I haven't had that much experience looking at stars, but when you spend some time actually like looking at it for a long period of time, it does feel like it's like moving in a sense, or not even just stars, but sometimes even when you're looking at anything, it feels like something is moving. I can never do live streams. I can't deal with negative comments and trolls. And that's why you use the subscribers only mode feature. I didn't know that was possible, but it works. It works pretty well. Some of those corporate offices look nice and sleek and inside, to be fair, but if the job sucks, it doesn't matter how pretty the workplace looks at that point. Exactly. You can make good use of your keyboard, such as making ASMR with it. Or all those times when I was smacking the keyboard because of I was trying to explain the thing about digital numbers and how everything is just about being typed out, and somebody typing a thing, and then, oh, that's your bill, that's what you have to pay, guys. If you don't pay, you can't live. That's what is this logic? Fucking hell. I find it funny that new generation are supposed to be the ones to change things, but even some of Gen Z are doing worse things than previous generations. That's true. I mean, one thing that Gen Z does have is that we do have this. Not everybody has this awareness, but Gen Z seems to be the type of people who when something is not worth it, they'll just say, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to follow through. And this doesn't apply to everybody, because I know a lot of Gen Z people who are on LinkedIn, and who are some people a couple years younger than me, who are part of that train of LinkedIn, and, oh, I just got this new position, I just graduated here, and making a whole post about it. Like, some Gen Z people are really into this stuff, so I don't know. Do you know your MBTI personality type? Yes, I'm an INFP, leaning INFJ. It's how it is. I knew people that worked there, and they had to go from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. doing data entry, and their manager would watch what they were doing. Yeah. Just got a calendar invite from my boss now at 8 p.m. for a meeting tomorrow to talk about stats and spreadsheets. Why is this life literally hell? Man, I feel bad for you, man. You know, life never used to be about, stats and spreadsheets. So why is it now? Who decided that this was going to be life? It makes fucking no sense to me. 43 watching, only 3 likes so far. Well, there's actually 27 likes from what I see. I had to work an event here in the STL. What's an STL? I don't know. This weekend, and I thought of you. This guy about 4 feet tall walked up to me and said, "I want to speak with the owner. I'll have this place shut down." Okay. Love from Barbados. Where is that? I've never heard of that. Oh, it's a country in the Caribbean. I never heard of this country before. But hey, I'm glad you're watching. I quit my job Friday. Yeah, I know the feeling. I hope you're in a steady place to quit. Because in this reality, we can't just quit whenever, you know. But I really hated those meetings with bosses. I always got nervous before them. I have been here since your very first video. Always loved your work and knew what you were that you were a real one. Sometimes you can just see real genuine people when they speak and things they talk about. We are rare. Yeah, that's honestly thank you thank you for being there since the first video. This blows my mind honestly, but it's just like I think when it comes to at least people with our personality type, it's like we can kind of see, we can kind of sense when somebody is like us in a sense, you know. And I don't know how to explain it. There's no logic to it. It's just there's there's something about it. Nice. I thought you had to be an IN type. Yeah. I don't use LinkedIn. It's a waste of time. I'd rather connect with LinkedIn than Facebook though. Facebook just seems too chaotic. I I wouldn't use either. Do you ever notice how things used to seem to have harmony and balance and now everything is just completely out of whack? We're collapsing socially in America and the West. Nobody talks anymore. Yeah. You know, sometimes I think to myself, why can't we just come together as a species, as a society, and do something about this shit? But I don't know if that's ever possible, because there are so many narcissistic people out there. People who care so much about money, people who care so much about digital numbers and their jobs, their positions, who care about their mansion, who care about their luxury cars. So because they care too much about those things, they want to keep the system intact in a sense. And, Life Outrage, Estiel is St. Louis. Oh, okay, okay. And I'm guessing St. Louis is in the United States? It's in Missouri. Okay, Missouri. Do you consider living in Vietnam or somewhere more affordable? Yeah, that is a future goal of mine actually, because you know, when I picture myself, you know, in this life, I don't see myself building a life in Canada or anywhere, like not even the United States, not even anywhere Western. Nah, you know. So because things are becoming so bleak here when you think about it. Sure, people will have the big house, people will have the, you know, things, but and all their materialistic things and stuff, but that's not what matters, you know. And in these places where the cost of living is low, we can actually feel more free, feel less trapped by materialism and things like that. So um, it's just a matter if you're in that type of mindset, if you're ready to actually let go of, you know, the lifestyle in the West, you know, and if you're like completely done with it, you know. And I'm in the phase of realizing that, you know, I cannot build a life here in the West. You know. Government is another way of saying better than you. Do you feel like we're just experiencing an existential crisis because of too much technology? Technology. See, that's the thing. Well, there are some good aspects to technology. I wouldn't say that it's a. There are some pros and cons, obviously, but I don't think technology is ruining everything. But there are many aspects that technology is ruining things. So, I don't know. Have you ever tried therapy? I only had one meeting, but honestly, I had no clue how they can fix this tragedy we call existence. No, I've never tried therapy actually, but no, I thought about this, but when it comes to this awareness, this awakening, you can't really expect a therapist or anybody to help you with this because I mean, I've never been, so I don't know exactly what happens in therapy, but I just think that another person, or at least somebody being paid to do this, you know, how the hell is somebody being paid to do this going to fix? Because that's the thing. Well, first of all, what I'm going through, this awakening, it's not something to be fixed. It's something that we just go through. It's something that we live with. You know, once you see the truth, you know, you live with it. You know, you and I'm in a phase where I don't want to suppress this. I want to build a life around it. You know, and so because that's what I'm worried about. I don't want, you know, any therapist or anything to tell me to cope and tell me to suppress these emotions and no, because that's what I think they would do. But do you speak Vietnamese? Yes, I do. Is it healthy to have the awareness? Um, it can feel very overwhelming once you go through it for the first time, but for me personally, it kind of it's more steady now. Like there are some moments where things will still get overwhelming, obviously, but it's not as much as you know the beginning of the year, for example. So. Um, Sorry, I made that face because I was confused by the Whitney Houston comment there. What if the internet shuts down tomorrow? Oh boy. If like forever or just temporarily. Um, it's kind of insane to think about this because you know internet has become a part of everybody's lives, the way we navigate things, and the way I make money is through the internet now. So if I don't have the internet, it's like fuck. So that's a very scary thought when you think about it. Did you ever get nervous when your boss wanted to talk to you? Absolutely. And you know, one thing I never said about my boss. I mean, I've discussed about him multiple times, but um, one thing I didn't really mention that he represented like literally the physical version of toxic masculinity. You know, he had this like he kind of always walked like this, you know, spreads his legs and he's just like he's the man of the house, yeah, and things like that. And I even remember a comment he made when you know there was a guy at work. He invited us to go to ice cream, and my boss he was saying shit like oh give me a big ice cream cone because that's what a real man needs, yeah. And he didn't say the yeah, but but you get what I mean. And in my head I was just like fucking hell, honestly. And but yeah, every time he entered the room there was this slight, I felt this sudden anxiety around him. And when that happens, that's when you know you got to get the fuck out of there. You know. Can you imagine living off the grid? Completely off the grid, no. But would you ever go to Vietnam and teach English? Um, that's actually an interesting possibility there. I haven't thought about that, but would be interesting to be taught English, like perfect English, because I come from Canada, to Vietnamese people. So I don't know. We'll see. I think we have a troll. I'd be surprised to have a troll even if I'm using the subscribers only mode. But Life Outrage, did you play Grand Theft Auto 5? Yes, I did play Grand Theft Auto 5 a lot in my teens. The game was pretty big. I do have it on my computer. Um, yeah. Are you going to play GTA 6? Uh, I'd love to try it, but I don't think because what we're at, you need to have like by the time that game comes out, you need to have like the latest, the latest PC with the high graphic card and shit like that. And I don't have that. Or you need to have the PlayStation 6 or whatever. And I'm not gonna spend money on those things. So um, I'd love to give that game a try, but will I ever buy like invest myself in the in those like new consoles? No, way too much money. I do like how the internet has connected to people, other like-minded people though. Just got to be careful of echo chambers. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm actually very grateful for the internet that we get to like do something like this. So yeah. It honestly embarrassing need a large ice cream to show you're a real man. Honestly, like yeah, my boss was such a fucking idiot when he said that. Hey, Life Outrage, what is some good advice you can give if you're struggling in life? Oh boy, um, struggling in life, huh? I mean, what I'm gonna say is not going to fix everything, obviously, but I guess try to get in touch with your inner child, maybe. Try to see, just to reconnect. How did you feel as a child? Think about that. How did you think about the joy, the happiness? And at the same time, I understand that some people didn't have great childhood, so I guess doesn't apply to everyone. But I guess that's how I kind of um, deal with when struggling in life, just to remember what it's like to feel joy and happiness. And even if you had a rough childhood, um, you can there must have at least been a moment where you felt happiness and joy, at least at some point in your life. um, I'd be surprised to know that you know if somebody didn't go through at least one moment of happiness in their life, at least. So damn, I should drink my water. I've been talking so much. um What do you think about online dating sites? I personally think they are pointless. Um, I almost find them irrelevant because, like, why at this point? It's just superficial. Like, it's not something that concerns me and like at this point. It's just kind of like it flies over my brain. It's just not something that. It's just noise. It's just meaningless noise to me. Like, so it's nothing. My childhood was okay, but I feel like I needed more social interaction. Water is best. Absolutely. Are you gonna make it? Are you, are you gonna make a video about what it really means to be happy? Um, I don't know if I'm ready to make that video yet, because um, I don't know. It's just not. I'm not. I don't think I'm in a place to make that video at this time. Um, and I also don't want to make a video that's like toxic positivity either. Like I still want to keep. I have to keep being real. I can't just sugarcoat things. I can't just you know, just yeah. Oh, we got a donation here. Um, by the way, when it comes to donations, I'm not asking for anything. So, but thank you. We just got like 8 inches of snow yesterday. 8 inches, Jesus Christ! It's actually snowing right now, like very lightly, but not a lot. Can you make a video about taxes? Um, I to be honest, I don't know if I'll ever make a full video just about taxes because taxes is something. It's like a it's still it's part of the problem, obviously, yes, because it's bullshit. But so it's something that I just mention throughout my videos. But it's I don't know if it's something that I'll ever focus on like for an entire video. Do you believe in borders, countries? Um, Here's the thing. I appreciate the fact that we have different cultures, different languages, and things. But it is kind of absurd when you think about like all these borders, these countries where there are all these rules of you have to enter this country and things like that, and it's like you need to have this visa, you can stay a certain day here, and it's like this is a planet. This is just planet Earth, and we just made up all these rules. It's kind of ridiculous. You should play music for us sometime. I don't know if I'm ready to do that. I like winter. Oh, I wasn't saying I like winter. I'm just reading the comment there. But hey, I'm glad you like winter. You guys actually like winter over summer? Interesting. Did you ever wonder why the English language is taught all over the world and why there's an order A to Z 1 to 26? That is an interesting question, yeah. This is a very existential question. Why is English the main language? I don't know. It's actually kind of interesting. It's like when you think about it, just one language is invented and suddenly it's the language of the world. I don't know. Hi, Life Outrage. How are you doing today? Doing okay. Doing okay. Do you think we could be living in a simulation? I don't know about an actual simulation, but a lot of the things that we do in life feel like a simulation. Like the commuting to work, clocking in, going to the office, that feels very simulation like to me. And if you had to ask me if we're actually in a simulation, I don't know. But that's the thing. How would we know? You know? Love your content. Nice to find someone with a relatable mindset. Happy to see the live stream. Which religion or philosophy do you feel closest to and find most logical? I don't. See, that's the thing, because I don't want to label myself as anything. So I guess the religion I've always been close to was probably agnostic, and the philosophy. I don't know. Do you ever talk with your parents about existing and related topics? I have before in the past briefly, but I try not to. How are you feeling today? Hope you're really okay. Also, do you ever feel lonely? When you get lonely, how do you deal with it? Like taking a walk, writing it all down. No, well, because I've reached a point where it's like, I guess when you have this awareness, this awakening, it's like you feel like you don't like you still. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you still want to connect with people, but you're not desperate about it in a sense. You know what I mean? It's just like whereas if you compare to me like many years ago, where I had no friends and I was actually sad about it, and I was like, looking at social media and people all hanging out and things, and I was sad and jealous and things like that. But I don't get that feeling anymore. No, not at all. But I still want to connect with people in a sense, but I'm not like desperate about it. I hope I'm explaining things correctly. I don't. I mean, it's just weird that normies just get see society as it is, and that's all you expect. Do you believe in aliens? As in, like, other beings in the universe, in the galaxy? Yeah, I do. Family won't understand us, they just say that's life. Yeah. It's crazy how that single comment is literally something I went through. Are you loner, if I may ask? What do you mean by loner? Like somebody who just. I guess if you mean it in a sense that I'm fine doing things by myself, yeah, I guess if you could say that. Do you hate money? Yeah. Of course I hate digital numbers. It's all artificial bullshit. Mm, what do you do for a living? Is this an NPC question or you're actually serious? Would you ever write a book? Um, haven't really thought about it, but I don't know. I don't know if I would write a book. NPC alert. Do you feel embarrassed when NPCs disagree with you? I don't know about I don't know about embarrassed. I'm just kind of like annoyed. Well, not annoyed, but just like, why pay attention to these people? It's just like they can just fuck off. Like, do you have friends? Do you want to go out of the house and do things? Oh, okay. Uh, no, not much. Not around much, really. No. What advice would you give someone trying to make it in the world? Gosh, when you guys ask me for advice, it's hard for me to say. It's like because I'm not somebody who has his life together or anything. I'm just a regular guy, um, trying to make it in the world. Gosh, because at the same time I don't want to sound like some toxic positivity idiot, But trying to make it in the world. God. Just to, like I said earlier, just keep your inner child intact. Keep that side of yourself intact. I think that's at least something. You know. Do you know anyone in real life that thinks this way? I don't believe I know anyone who has this awareness in real life. Locally, no. Love your videos. You're a very smart dude. What does your day to day look like roughly without going into details? mm, yeah, I mean, a lot of the times I'm just, well, because it's winter, that actually makes me do less things, actually. That makes me feel less motivated to do anything. And so I'm just being completely honest. Sometimes I'm just lying around and um, falling asleep here and there and things, zoning out, staring at things. It's pretty rough. I should probably do something about it, but then again, society is telling you should do something about it. So I don't know. But I do still feel that thing in me that I still want to do something about it. But do you like cooking? If so, what's your favorite thing to make? Um, some of my favorite things to make is pasta, like any type of pasta. Um, just yeah, any type. And if I had to choose one of my favorite pastas, probably carbonara, um, aglio olio. Yeah, I love those. What soda drinks do you like? Um, I don't know. My favorite soda. I guess my favorite soda is probably Coke. Are you burnt out in any way? Um, realistically, because well, burnout in a sense of work. Well, because I'm not working, so I'm not burnt out in that sense. But if you mean, I could also be burnt out from the weather too, the winter season. Would you ever make a video outside? I think people like to see YouTubers walk around their neighborhood. Um, interesting question. I have tried to make one video outside. I think I made it in June, I think. And I feel like I had trouble expressing myself because I was kind of afraid of somebody hearing me, hearing my thoughts. And the only time I can actually like, let all of my thoughts out comfortably is like, you know, in my room. Um, but I definitely would love to work on that, definitely. And I also made one video where I was driving too, and even if I was in my own space and I wasn't around people and I was in my car, I still found it hard to get my thoughts out because I was driving and I was like focusing on the road, seeing things, and I was also trying to think about things to talk about. So I didn't really enjoy it much. That's why I didn't do it again. So yeah. Hold up, let's just take a moment to appreciate that remote controlled rocket launcher from Nightfire again. Yeah, seriously, that the rocket launcher from the James Bond game Nightfire is the best thing ever. What are your thoughts about plastic surgery? Do you find it superficial? Um, I mean, people do whatever the hell they want, but at the same time, I don't have too much opinion on that. What's your ideal temperature? Um, hmm. I like 10 degrees. 10 degrees is actually like I like a nice sunny day with a nice breeze, you know. Yeah, I do I like that. I like fettuccine alfredo. It's also a good one. Coke and Christmas, I love it. Do you think being intelligent, smart, or clever is a scam for high paying jobs? Um, I don't really understand what, like, is being a smart person like a flaw in a sense, and it's harder to navigate the system because of it, right? I don't know. It's funny watching Elon Musk freak out about falling birth rates, though. I don't really watch that. 007 Nightfire remote controlled rocket launcher, W or L? Definitely W. Pepperoni pizza is good. I have a very controversial opinion, but I'm not the biggest pizza fan. Like I can eat pizza like from time to time, but it's not like it's not like in my top 10 foods as it is for most people. What are those pictures in the background? Uh, wait a minute. They're actually my graduation pictures. So there's a graduation picture from primary school, and then high school, and then you know trade school. And I believe this picture here is a picture of Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars. Believe it or not, it's not just a picture, but it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle that I did as a kid, and I put it in a frame. And it's been there since I was a kid, and I never took it down. Do you socialize, or are you just like at home and never really meet people? Yeah, that's pretty much my life. No shame, no shame. I wonder what happens if you try to ignite your fart. The fuck? What is your zodiac sign? I'm a Leo. Do you believe in horoscopes? Nah. Nope. He probably meant it if someone being smart is made up to make people have big egos about themselves and thus work harder in a complex profession. Right, I get it. Yeah, because sometimes I don't really have too much of an opinion on that. But it is an interesting thing to think about, yeah. I used to like pizza a lot, and then I worked at a pizza place, and I can't stand the pizza still, and I don't like it in general as much as anymore. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. Kind of getting tired. What series have you watched? I've watched a bunch of series. Um, I just haven't watched like what did I what series? I don't watch too many series because I'm more of a movie person. But for example, I've watched Breaking Bad. I've watched Sherlock. I've watched Game of Thrones. I've watched Cobra Kai. Um, it's about that. Some of the Star Wars TV shows. Is there another way to live stream horizontally so I can have you in the background while looking at something else? Uh, I've never tried, but well, I don't want to try it now because I'll try it like privately using the private mode and see if it works. But I think I'm okay with the vertical live stream, but. Eh. If you could live on this planet or another planet in the galaxy, would you live on this planet or move to a different planet? Well, if there was a planet that allowed freedom, then yeah, let me go there. Like for example, if Earth remains the only planet that revolves around digital numbers and shit like that, I think it's best if we can just get the hell out of here. What are your thoughts on the 2024 election? Like the American? If you're talking about that, then I have. Well, to be honest, I have honestly no opinion about any election because I don't give a shit about that. I like your live stream setup. There's not much setup, but it's basically the same setup as in my videos. The only thing I added differently was this softbox light that I found in my somewhere, and I decided to use it again, and that's why you know, I'm getting better lighting compared to using the natural light from my window. Uh, Dude, please reply. Reply to what? Did you read it? Did I read what? Sorry if I missed your question. Crazy, I made it to the stream, been having insomnia right now. I wanted to ask a question. What kind of books do you read, and what kind of it would you recommend reading? Uh, I'm not a big reader, so I can't really answer this question. The last book I read like fully was The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien, and I really love that book. But since then, that was actually 3 years ago. The last time I read a full book. So yeah. What's the one thing about yourself you want to change or work on? Interesting question. Uh, Definitely the ability to, you know, take bold steps, take action, take risks, and things like that. And I feel like I think that's something that I've always struggled with in my life, and the fact that I just kind of hold myself back out of fear or out of whatever, you know, and that's something that I would love to really work on. And yeah. Do you also hate the rich? I don't know if I would say hate, but they are like part of the problem of this world. Yeah. Have you played any indie horror games? Nah. The thing is, most other planets are inhabitable to humans, or no civilization for humans, so it's stupid to go there when we can't even figure out things here. Yeah, that's true when you think about it. When I leave the stream, I can't have you on the background while reading something else. I'm on mobile. Oh, really? Because I remember I was watching Tragic Reality stream, and sometimes leave, I would like kind of leave the app, and it would still pop up there. So I honestly don't even know how that works. Even some videos you watch and you leave the app, and the video will still play on your phone or your iPad or whatever. So I don't know how that works. Do you do you think people who like to be alone generally have a good imagination and are happy with their own thoughts because they can daydream? Well, yeah, that's the thing. When I'm all by myself, I kind of just I have a lot of time to think and things like that. So I don't mind it. Um, I don't watch your channel much, but you do make good content that helps others, and I agree with things you say. Thank you. I found Silmarillion too difficult to read. It is quite a challenge to read, yes. But regardless of it being a challenge, I actually enjoyed reading it very much. There's some really interesting things to read about. Uh, I have a question. Do you believe in God? Why or why not? Uh, I wouldn't say I believe, but I wouldn't say that God doesn't exist. Well, not necessarily the word God, but some form of thing out there that's kind of some kind of presence or some, I don't know, because I don't like to say the word God much, um, so I like to say I don't have a name for it. I don't have a name for that thing that, you know, people will say, oh, the creator and things like that, but I don't view things like that in a sense. Yeah. Have you watched Severance? No, I have not. Life Outrage, my question is, do you watch Splash Tunes? If not, please watch it and tell me if it relates to your story about the system and stress. No, I've never watched Splash Tunes. I don't know what that is. But let me look it up. It's probably not something I watch myself because it's like Roblox things. Is B Stevie 994 a YouTuber? I feel like I've seen that channel somewhere. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I've seen this person's videos on my feed at some point. That's why that username looked familiar. What do you think about climate change and societal collapse? Um, I mean, I wonder. It's a thing that I think about all the time, but I don't really get too deeply into that thought of societal collapse. But I'm still hoping for like some form of change that would, because it's like things need to get really bad for it to for people to want change, you know? I appreciate the answer. I don't believe in God because you need evidence proof that it exists, but we don't know exactly because which makes me agnostic. Yeah, that's why I don't want to label myself as having a religion, but if I were to the closest, it would be agnostic as well. Would you much rather live in the fictional world instead? Um, depends which one. Do you think the question to ask is what would be worth experiencing in 500 years? In 500 years? Like what would happen in 500 years? I don't know. Hoping that maybe in 500 years people here would probably figure their shit out if that makes any sense. Have you heard of weather control? No, I have not. Oh boy. I'm getting tired here. I'm speaking way too much. What's your view on college and the trades? Um, call it. Well, college. I said earlier in the stream that college and university is just about making money. You know, because you're paying for books, you're paying for the school year, you're paying to be enrolled into this field or whatever, and it's just and the thing about think about it, like back when um, you were in high school or primary school, you know, people they would lend you some books, whereas in university you have to buy your books. So it is fucking bullshit. And when it comes to the trades, well, I've been in the trades myself, but I don't know. Just any form of school is just I don't know. It's just making me kind of like, It's just I just cringe about education. I don't. What do you think about AI? Um, well, there are some positive. See, that's the thing. I'm not. I'm not always like saying something is bad, bad, bad. Like there are always good sides to something and there are bad sides to something. You know, it's not always one or the other. It's always nuanced for me. But when it comes to AI, there's a lot of pretty bad things, um, but there are also some interesting things that have come out of it as well. What are your thoughts on the 2024 elections? Yeah, once again, I don't really have any opinion on elections. I spent hundreds of dollars just to buy books for classes when I was in college. Yeah, that's the part that's so bullshit. You know, like I remember thinking how absurd it was. Like I didn't have this full blown awareness at the time when I was in college, but something in me found it really absurd standing in line to get in the school shop and just picking out books to for school, and then you pay them, and the bill would end up being like over $100 plus. one thing one thing I did was that I remember there was a book that was so expensive, and it was like a book like this thick that you had to get, and then during the entire semester I never actually bought it. So like I relied on like my classmates for it during the entire year because of how much I didn't give a shit. So um and I ended up failing that class anyway, which no surprise there. Oh man, I hate that the school system just produces NPCs. Yeah. What do you think about Christmas? Do you think it is still real, or people just do it because society tells them to do? Um, well, the thing is, when it comes to Christmas, it's still something that I'm deeply fond of. It reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of being a kid again. So I still hold on to Christmas, but at the same time, I won't lie that sometimes Christmas is different now because you start to realize about the consumerism aspect of things, and that's when it kind of ruins the magic in a way. But I still like the holiday, but there are also some sides to it where I'm just like, you know, like I still love like Christmas films, for example, like especially like ones from the '90s or early 2000s, for example. And they evoke this like really happy feeling, which can't deny. How long has this stream been going? 100 minutes? God damn. I remember our textbook didn't have answers in it, so every day I would go to the library and fill it out until at the end of the year everyone would wanted my notes. I gave it to them for snacks. You could have asked them to pay you as well if you wanted. I agree. Christmas feels different now. Yeah. I know that feeling with the streams. You lose track of time. Yeah. Has anti-natalism changed your perception about parents? I feel like I can't see being a parent being a positive thing like ever again. Um, See that here's the thing. I don't label myself as anything anymore. I'm not anti-natalist. I'm not anything, but I still I still believe that we should, bring children into this world, but I won't like go I won't go towards people and say, "Hey, you should not have had kids. That's wrong." And it's like, you know, leave them be. People do whatever the hell they want, but I'm not gonna go up to people and just attack them for having a child. That's a bit much, but you know, but I still believe that adoption is something good because there are so many children out there who are struggling already. So what's the point of popping out another kid? What, so that you can pass on your genes? Is that the reason why most people have kids? What do you think about the COVID-19 pandemic? COVID is very interesting because it actually allowed us to kind of see what life is like outside of the system, at least for a little bit. You know, to take a break from work, like places were shut down. What is life like when nobody is rushing to go to work, rushing to commute? And I thought that was the more interesting aspect of COVID. Obviously, it was dangerous, and we were all wearing masks and things, but and that kind of sucked. But um, just the fact that we got to experience, in a sense, what it was like for people not to go to work and things, and that was the most interesting part, I think. But it also shows that we were very much. It also has another side where it felt like we were being controlled. You know, and it's like, oh, you need to have the vaccine in order to get here, to go here, and it's like, yikes. You can feel it feels almost dystopian, like when you think about it. But well, something just happened. Do you guys still see me? The stream is acting up. Yeah. My screen is completely black. I guess this is the cue for the end of the stream because. Hello? What the hell? I think I fixed it, guys, yeah. Is everyone okay? Did you get the vaccine? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. How many times did I think I got it 3 times, which just shows how the system kind of, scares you into getting the vaccine and things. Um, but after they decided to say, oh, you should get a fourth one, a fifth one, I was like, nah, that was done for me. I was done. Do you watch Functional Melancholic? No, I do not. I have an interesting opinion about Functional Melancholic. Um, I noticed that because of my age, first of all, and because I'm younger, um, I'm more subject to trolls and and things like that. But and so functional. I know more Functional Melancholic. He has more of a structured video. It's more scripted and more organized and things, and also the fact that because of his age, he's much more older. He can talk about similar things as me, but it'll be viewed as wise, as more philosophical, and he doesn't seem like the type of YouTuber who gets trolls, and I understand why I get these response videos, these trolls, and I know deep down it's because I'm a younger person. I'm in my 20s, and that's why I know that's one of the factors, because people will probably think, oh well, he's only in his 20s, he doesn't know shit. Yeah, yet you can watch Functional Melancholic, who talks about similar things, but he will be seen as wise and philosophical and things like that. And this is no disrespect to him. Like I don't really watch his videos, so I don't have any opinion. So, um, and yeah, It's just what I thought, what I think. Does the lack of sun during December bother you? Absolutely. It's actually like what's bothering me the most is that there's no sun and I can't like go outside and be in the sun and things, and it's just cloudy for 90% of the time. Are you a cat person or a dog person? I think I'm a cat person. Yeah. Yeah, younger people are thought of as stupid. Yeah. Man, I wish I had your mindset at that age. The more people against you, the more you're on the right track in life. It's not your age, it's your content and going against the system. Yeah. I mean, I don't really watch Functional Melancholic, but does he does he deal with themes of going against the system, or is he just more like um I assume that his videos are more about um talking about the system? That does I don't know. I don't watch, so I don't. Older generations are not good either. Boomers can be very terrible. Yeah, you don't know what they put in the COVID needles, even though I had like 4 jabs. Yeah, I got 3. Hello. No sun is real. It's so depressing coming back home from an 8-hour shift when you wake up in the dark and come back in the dark. Yeah, that's one of the most depressing things about going to work in the winter season. It's really bad. Are you a morning person or a night owl? I would say more of a night owl. I love the night. Yeah. Good to see you live again. I'm really enjoying your content. Thank you. Would you rather go to school or work? Um, I don't even like either, so I don't. Yeah, exactly. Neither. Like what? I think once this glass of water is done, that's when the stream will be. I will end the stream. It's not over yet though. There's still about like 1/4 of water left. If you could have anything for Christmas, what would it be? I don't know. Haven't really thought about things that I want much. Um, well, I mean, lately I've been I really like watches, so I like I don't know I like watches. So a nice watch is always a nice thing for me. I'm in college right now. I could so relate to your videos. I have health issues and I'm in college. Sometimes I'm like I am doing this and it will pay off or no. I don't know. school, because you're with peers. Most of the people in the workforce are a lot older, at least where I work. They're really nice though. It's just, it's different when you're hanging with someone your age. Yeah, I guess that's true as well. Um, when are you ending the stream? I don't know. Soon. I'm kind of getting. I feel like I've talked way too much. Does your sibling know about your YouTube channel? How do you think they would react if they found out? I kind of, if there was one person who probably has an idea, would be my sibling, um, and it's mainly because my sister was once using my computer because there was something wrong with her computer, so she came in here and used my computer for a bit, and once she was like trying to use a thing with the file explorer to upload some things, it opened the window to my life outrage folder. So I assume she probably saw something in the life outrage folder, but at the same time she didn't ask anything. She kind of just did her own thing and left it at that. So honestly, if there was one person in my family who would at least understand to some extent, at least it would be my sister. Yeah. um, so but still not really ready to say reveal this channel to people. Do you feel there's still variety to experience in the world though? I think so. Yeah, there's still a lot of things to enjoy in this on this planet, this world. There's some beautiful things to see, to explore. What are your favorite books? I don't really have favorite books because I'm not a big reader. But if I had to look at my books here, yeah, I mean, I don't know. What would you do at 100K subs? I don't know. That would be. I don't think that's. I don't know if that's actually possible, especially at this rate. I mean, for example, like other channels who have came after me have already surpassed me. So I don't know. I don't see that happening. But hypothetically, if I reach 100K, that would be crazy, right? Because at 100K, don't you receive like the YouTube plaque thing? That's oof. I don't know. I don't know if that's ever possible, but would be interesting. I'm not opposed to it, but realistically, I don't see that happening. Do you live with your family? Yes. Hello. Somebody told me I don't care about others. All I said was I am not into politics. That is how politics and religion poison my mind. I don't know where we got the idea that making everything complicated was a good idea. Yeah. The real channels are shadow banned. If channels have a lot of views and subs, they're not talking about the system or going against it. Yeah. See, that's the thing, because with my channel, I'm not like I would love to optimize it in a way to reach more people out there, but At the same time, I feel like by optimizing it, it's kind of losing the authenticity. Because, for example, some of the videos where I get lots of views, lots of subscribers, are the ones where I'm usually in existential despair. And then most YouTubers would say, well, okay, if this works, if the videos that get a lot of views and get a lot of subscribers are the existential despair, then I'm gonna keep doing that. Keep doing that so I can get lots of views. But the thing is that I'm being real about my thoughts, about my mind, my inner world. So I don't constantly do videos like that. I'm not gonna keep doing videos like that just for the sake of views and subscribers. And I think that's the reason why I'm growing slowly. I'm not growing fast like these other YouTubers, because some other YouTubers are optimizing their channels in a way where, for example, when you put the word men and women in the title, that boosts the algorithm. The algorithm boosts things like that. So, and then the YouTuber will probably see, oh, well, making videos with the words men and women works, so I'm just gonna keep doing that, and then they end up like surpassing my channel in a sense. And okay, good for them, but at the same time, like I don't see myself, I don't know if I see myself doing that in a way. So I can't just do, I don't see myself doing 100 types of videos like that. I'm done with everything, I'm tired of existing. I know those videos are the ones that get the most views, but it's not the only thing that reflects who I am. I can't sustain those types of video, like making those types of videos all the time. That'll just is just be fake, and I don't want to be fake. The whole point of this channel is for me to be real and authentic, and to talk about things that I'm actually really talking about, like, or thinking about, because I'm not actually like sitting at a desk and saying, hey, okay, what video can I make today? That's not my mindset. It's more like I'm going on about my day, and then a thought enters my mind, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm thinking about this. Oh, I should make a video about it. That's just how it works. And I don't even script on videos either. I just press record and I just speak my mind. So, and some people don't really like people who speak their mind. Some people prefer more organized, structured videos, and for me, it's much more better for me to just speak my mind. And that's how it should be, and you'll attract genuine followers by staying like that. Exactly, because I'd rather have genuine people watching my videos for me as a person, rather than just me complaining about life all the time. Because some people want me to stay in that existential despair all the time. They would rather watch me be depressed because it makes them feel better that I'm depressed. What's up, man? Currently working on the UPS factory while watching your stream. Oh my god. The real Santa's workshop. Man, that's crazy. What is the topic of discussion today? There's no real topic. I'm just you know answering questions live, and sometimes I'll come in and say some thoughts, but most of the time it's more about the viewer and creator interaction. I think that's what my streams are more about. Have you ever been to Africa? No. I love to go to Egypt though. That's like How old are you? I'm 26. What if you had 1 million subs? Now that I know that's never gonna happen, but I'm not opposed to it. I instantly resonated with your first few videos because maybe it's because we're both INFP or depressed. Yeah. I love that your live streams are open tables so we can see where we connect and get to know each other. Great idea, very unique. Yeah. That's why it's kind of like when I make my videos, it's more about me expressing my inner world. Whereas when I do these live streams or even my Q&As, it's an opportunity to kind of um, just this little viewer and creator interaction. I hate that people are framing people like us depressed, negative. I'm not depressed. I just see through the BS. Yeah. Appreciate you, dude. These types of discussions are the only ones worth engaging these days. I just hate when some people are toxic when they're confident in their own BS. Would you ever live stream on Twitch? Um, isn't it isn't Twitch just to play like video games or something? Because I don't really play. Do you play video games? Okay, if so, on what platform? Um, I don't play much, but I do have some games on my computer. Um, if you want to know what I have, I have Grand Theft Auto 5. I have Star Wars Battlefront. I have the Spider-Man game. I have Batman Arkham Knight. I have The Sims 4. That's pretty much all I have. But I haven't played in a while. No, Twitch can be for any type of stream. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's better already on YouTube because this is where my subscribers are. So, what are some personal self-development strategies you've been working towards? Um, I kind of just answered. I kind of answered this earlier in the stream, but just to the ability to take action, make bold moves in life, and follow follow our dreams, do what we actually want to do, and trying to find a way to navigate the system. I think that's my next step. I think because I'm already able to voice out my dislike for the system, and now it's time to you know take action, try to find a way to navigate this life and do what we actually want to do. I think that's my next challenge. I love how diverse and unique everyone is on here. That's what we all need to learn and grow and find connections. Have you heard of depressive realism? There have been studies which say that people with clinical depression are more objective at assessing situations and attributing blame and credit. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't really like to use the word depressed anymore because it's just it's only a fraction of what we feel of how what we're dealing with, you know. So it's like more complex than that, but society will easily put us into that depressed box. So it's kind of yeah. If you could make a movie, what genre would it be? um, I don't know if I would still want to make a movie like a story like I don't know, like not I don't want to make like a conventional movie like when you release in theaters and for everybody to go see, buy a ticket, and I don't want to make the next superhero blockbuster or anything. Kind of just want to make a movie that reflects more like life, something real, something more authentic, something about nature, something about people. I don't know. uh, have you been do you feel like language just traps us into labels, like we label things like depressed, as in like language like English, French, and things like that? Or have you been able to find another job, or are you no longer looking because of your YouTube success? Okay, well, I wouldn't say YouTube success, but well, it's mainly because, for example, the job market and things like that. It's like I've tried applying to many jobs earlier this year, even part-time ones that I even have experience for, but didn't get anything really. And the only job that I was offered an interview was one where um, it was a bit too similar to my last toxic job. So, and it was full time, which is not what I'm looking for right now. I don't want to do a 9 to 5 full time. Yeah, like anything that reminds me of my last. But that's the thing, because they kind the you get the opportunities I got for jobs were very similar to the last jobs, and I can't, no, I can't do that to myself. I don't like the fact that Twitch doesn't save streams permanently. I don't know that. Why not switch careers? Well, that's the thing, because I don't want to follow a career. I just want to be able to make digital numbers so I can like live my life, you know. So the idea of having a career is not, it's just not like something that I want to pursue, you know, because people think that the only way to live life is to have a career, but there is more to life than just a career. Because when you think about the word career, it means that you're really invested. You want to move up the social ladder. You want to things like that. But I just want to find a way to, you know, make digital numbers, and so I can just live my life. You know. Maybe you already noticed, but the best advice I can give you for jobs is to try and network. Going to events and meeting people will open doors. Yeah. Um, I definitely know that, but I don't. It's really fake, the idea of having to network in order to get a job and things. Maybe that's the only way that we can navigate the system with jobs, but I don't know. What was the first job you ever had? The first job I ever had was like so example, so it was in a supermarket, and there's this area where they sell like fast food, so like fried chicken, fries, and what else was there, pizza and things like that. So there was this area where they prepared like, you know, fast food things, and I was working in there, and yeah, that was my first job. Lasted 2 months. I was laid off. um, I had a theory at the time, thinking that I feel like I was just there to replace someone, and then once that someone came back, they kind of just laid me off. Do you believe that beauty is one of the leading influences within the world, as in pretty privilege and the access people are who are considered beautiful easily are granted? Yes, that is an unfortunate reality. Um, I hate that it works that way, but you know, fuck. Yeah, I really just hate that it works that way. Um, it is pretty disgusting. I don't. I'm 19. Should I try to get a job or volunteer? Job hunting gives me actual nightmares and makes me more depressed. Huh. Yeah, I totally understand about job hunting feeling depressive, because a lot of the times it's like you're just kind of like writing out the same information in every page, and a lot of the times they don't even let you give your resume in person anymore. I mean, I remember earlier this year I tried to apply to a place, and it was just a fucking retail job, and it was the retail job that I worked at in the past, and I worked at that same place before, and I tried to apply to the same place, and I was rejected. You know, and anyway, you know, and plus I was actually a good employee at that retail job, and you know, I was, it was like the best working experience I ever had. So, you know, I don't understand why they rejected me, but oh boy. I think I'm gonna end the stream very soon. I'm just getting really, just talking way too much now. proof of you that you know what you know. You're living and finding your way. Thanks for taking us along. Oh, proud of you that you know what you know. I read proof. I don't know. um, would you agree that fear in religion keeps people stuck from growing and learning and looking into things that they should know and understand? Um, that's a great question, actually. Um, Sometimes, with, for example, with religion, people are so focused on the religion they don't get to know themselves, so they devote their entire lives to this religion or sometimes an ideology or some sort, and they kind of just forget to get in touch with who they are. And this whole channel, at the beginning it was about complaining about the system in society, and it's still about that, but now it's really about me telling you guys to really get in touch with who yourself and who you are, and because this is what awareness does too. Awareness can also allow you to be your true self and be authentic and find out who you are, what you like, what you want to do in life, and things like that. Because when you're in the system, when you're working a 9 to 5 job, you don't get in touch with yourself. When you're so focused on a religion, you don't get in touch with yourself. You're just so focused on all these external things, and once you remove all this stuff, you can finally, get to know yourself, know what you want to do, and be who you truly are, be who you were meant to be. I think that's the beautiful part about awareness, I think, and that's the journey that I'm on right now. People need a script. That's the thing. People need a script. I don't understand. Around what age would you say you started being more aware about the unfairness and unsuffering of the world? Um, when it comes to unfairness and suffering in the world, probably when I was a kid. You know, um, I just the idea, like seeing poverty, homeless people around, unfairness, people starving in other countries, things like that. It's just something that really, I was very sensitive to those things as a child. Um, but when I became more aware about the system and society, that was more like later on, like in my 20s, like when I reached 24 years old. I think that's when it really hit me, when it came to that aspect about money, about digital numbers, things like that. And yeah, I would say 24 years old is when I woke up to that awareness. Do you meditate? No. Do you think it's best that AI just replaces humans altogether? No, I still think the power of humans is that it just feels more real, less robotic, and we don't want to get to a point where, because we already feel very robotic already with all these jobs and going to interviews. It feels like a robotic life, and we should reject a robotic life. So the idea of AI taking over, man, I don't know. What do you think about communal living? I mean, that's how things were centuries ago. So, and it seemed to have worked out pretty much like fine. But we decided to invent something like society and corporations and shit like that. And the job market is crazy too. It's incredibly stressful just to apply. How do you deal with not fitting in with a culture or a social group? Um, I mean, I'm at a point where I don't care about fitting in anymore. I'm just, more power to people who just want to do their own thing and follow their own path. Because a lot of times, if you fitting in, you have to depend on, you have to, sometimes you have to hide your true self in a way just to accommodate them, and to, you know, to make peace with the group in a sense. And so that's why I just don't really care about fitting in anymore. How bad is fake positivity is for you? For me, I think it's really bad for society. Absolutely, yeah. Because the more fake positivity, the more the world is not going to change. Because we have to address the issues. We have to address, you know, the struggles that we're going through, the suffering. And when we don't address these things, nothing's going to ever change. Are you blessed with a functional family? I guess you could say so. Oh well, I think I'm gonna end this stream here. It's getting a bit long, but yeah. Hope you guys are having a good evening, good day, or wherever you are in the world. um, Getting pretty tired of speaking because this is yeah. But thank you to everyone who stopped by. Appreciate it. And we'll see each other on the next stream, the next video. Yep. See you, everybody.